you have one goal and your partner has a different goal and they don't align, you're not gonna get anywhere.
You're always going to be trying to work towards your goal, and they're going to work towards their goal.
We need extra income. So for me, like I need that comfort level first. So emergency fund. After that, you start investing.
And a lot of times when you're buying these expensive things, it's not even for you. To impress your neighbor, to impress somebody on social media.
People upgrade their lifestyle, and in several other industries as well, as soon as they start making more money. And that is not how you grow your net worth.
Welcome back to another episode of Unpacking Life with the box and the basket. Kind of. Throwing up gang signs over here?
No.
So we're about halfway through January, and we've been trying to get the rest of this year all planned out financially, parently, as parents. I don't know.
Personally, family-wise, everything.
And one of our biggest things is trying to get more money.
Growing our net worth.
Being financially free.
Yeah.
And so we're going to explain to you guys how we have done that. And before we get into it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we appreciate y'all listening, watching, however you're getting our content.
Yeah.
So, step 1. Get you a hustler wife.
That sounded bad, like the magazine hustler.
Not the magazine. If I don't know, they might make a lot of money.
So usually I say that the first step is having a plan, but today I'm going to switch it up.
Oh.
And I think the first thing that needs to be in place is that if you're in a relationship, that you support each other. Because if you're by yourself, then this doesn't apply. But if you have one goal and your partner has a different goal, and it's a goal for your family, and they don't align, you're not going to get anywhere.
You're always going to be trying to work towards your goal, and they're going to work towards their goal.
And that's how people grow apart and get divorced, and then you're starting over from scratch.
Yeah,
So,
and you ain't going nowhere.
So for us, that looked like, when I wanted to start in real estate, Ricky supporting me when I didn't believe in myself. Us talking about, we have the same goal. So you have to have a goal. But I think it's super important to support each other in that goal and kind of, lifting each other up. And
so the first few years of our relationship, I was working full time, and Vanessa was exploring different jobs, I guess you could say. So
identity crisis.
Yeah, she tried to do all kinds of stuff, and
I was going to be a nurse, a teacher,
a
stockbroker. All kinds of things.
Financial fraud investigator.
Yeah, financial advisor. I mean, all kinds of things. I have a degree in finance, so I love finances.
A daycare owner.
I mean, you name it. I tried it out. So.
And I was basically, since I was 18, I was in the military, got out, and then just went like the law enforcement path. And it's thank you to criminals for having given law enforcement a stable job for the last thousands of years.
Yeah.
So I was always like in that constant, and but I knew Vanessa at some point. Like, she was already successful before I even met her. Like, she had a full-time job, she had a house, her own cars, and I was like,
no debt.
Yeah. I was this young dude, just getting out of the army with no solid plan.
Yeah.
But then once I started working, she went to Arizona with me, and then just kind of try to figure out what her thing was. And then once we left Arizona and went to, I think you were going to start doing real estate in Arizona.
Yep.
And then we ended up getting this wild hair up our butt and moved to Colorado. And
the rest is history.
Yeah, so she got her license here, and it took you, I think the first year you did about average of what a decent realtor does, like about 10 deals a year. And then she kind of just blew up after.
I think in the first year, so when I plan things, because of how I am and I'm super self-critical, I give myself a crutch in the planning. So
Mm-hmm.
like I set my goals almost lower than I know they can be so that I can meet them,
Under
which is cheating.
promise, overachieve.
Under promise, over deliver. So after that first year, I hit six figures, and I just, for me, like it wasn't even a thought in my mind
No.
to do that. So then that kind of like lifted the lid off of my head. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
stop being so hard on yourself. You can do
Right.
like big things. And I feel like you believed in me before I believed in myself. So
No.
again, having that support partner, and then not just even for us, also our friends play into it.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that you're around, and they always say you are the sum of the five people that you're around.
Right.
And as harsh as that may seem, we have taking people taken people out of that equation because they were not serving our bigger goal. Like they have different lifestyle, different values, um, different ways of supporting each other. And it's not that we don't wish them well or that they are not good people. They're just not good people for us. So I feel
Right.
like we have no like problem cutting people out of our life
Mm-hmm.
if they're not supporting our bigger goal. And I think we're in like, I don't know if we're in a people pleasing culture or not. I don't know. But
Oh, for sure.
for us, I just,
Yeah.
we,
We've
I,
always gone against the grain with us. Like it's Vanessa and I and our kids, and then everybody else comes second to that, no matter who you are.
mm-hmm.
So if we have to, if
You're
it's
either with us or against us.
no, it's just like we know what we want. We are strong-willed people where we're gonna work to get where we want to be and what we
Mhm.
want. And we love helping people out. If they want to come and be part of our journey, we're okay with that. But the second that you start affecting our journey, that's
Mhm.
when we kind of cut ties.
And we support like the people around us that we have their support, we support them to no end. Like
Mhm.
there's nothing that we wouldn't do for them because we know they will have our back in the
Right.
same way. And I think that's just something I learned that from my parents. Like my parents were super like to this day, they don't even have friends because they are to an extreme. They feel like
Yeah.
the only people supporting each other is like me and you and our immediate family, and that's it. So we've made some modifications to that. We do have friends. Our kids have friends. But yeah, so long story short, support each other and be around people that will support you
Mhm.
and lift you up and, you know, give you tough love when you need it if you're not meeting your goals and kind of like make you better. I think that's important.
Yeah.
After that, figure out your big picture. So, what is your goal and why? I think putting a why behind it can help you achieve it. Like, okay, we want to be financially free. Why?
Mhm.
You know, so we can travel, we can enjoy more memories. That's our why. Your goal might be, you know, you want to live in a $5 million mansion, and your why might be because, I don't know, you just like big, expensive things, and that's fine. Um, so, figure out your big picture and what your goals are, what your why is, to kind of have like your baseline, your foundation of what
Right.
you're going to build. Um,
And be real about it, right?
mhm.
Like I'm not gonna say I'm gonna make $5 million this year if I
Yeah.
don't actually think I can do it. Don't set outlandish goals just because you're gonna do it, because then you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
So just set something that's attainable that you know you can achieve, or at least work harder to achieve, um, just so you don't set yourself up for failure.
Yeah. After that, you're going to evaluate your spending, your budget, your debt, everything. So, um, if you're in a relationship, I think you should really look at that stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
To us, like we know people that manage their finances separately, and we just don't know how to do that just because we've been sharing
Yeah.
finances for over 10 years. But so I can't give a ton of tips on that, but we look at everything together. You know, and in the beginning it was we had nothing. So how do we get to something?
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you know, Ricky sold his car. So we had two cars. He sold his car because he paid for it cash when he came back from his deployment. So he sold the car and bought a cheap motorcycle. So we kept a chunk of money for our emergency fund.
Right.
We didn't sell the car and then spend all this money on like getting our you know, getting my hair and nails done and buying purses and PlayStations and all this stuff. Like we saved it. We had a goal and we knew the first step was having an emergency fund. So that's what we did. You know, I was pregnant with Aubrey, so we were about to have two kids, and that was something that was important to us. So helped me sleep better at night. So we sold his car, cut down on our insurance, cut down on our gas price or gas spending. So it was little things. So we took little steps that helped us, save more money. So once you evaluate your finances, I think an emergency fund comes first. And whatever you decide for that emergency fund to be, that money does not get touched unless it's an absolute emergency. So
Right.
you wanting to get the new iPhone is not an emergency. You, I don't know, getting a stereo system in your in your car is not an emergency. So
Yeah.
for us, that was, like you're without a job or you're sick, you broke your leg and you're on disability payments and we need extra income. So for me, like I need that comfort level first. So emergency fund. After that, you start investing. So where can you cut down to save money? Or if you're not able to cut, like you are kind of at the minimum of what you're spending, like you're not spending a lot on your self-care, you're really being careful with your groceries, you're not really eating out, you're not going to Starbucks, you don't have an iPhone, you don't spend a lot of money in general, but it's just not enough to build anything, then you need to get a second job or a side hustle. We have a whole episode on side hustles. It's 2024. You can make money with almost anything. Just what are you good at? What do you have time for? Research something, start something, try something. Preferably something that doesn't cost money. Like, I see this stuff all the time. Like, just give us $500 and we'll teach you to do this. Like, there's
That's
so
that
much.
person's side hustle.
Yeah, it is. You're
Yeah.
fueling someone else's side hustle. But there's so many things that you can do. Like, YouTube is a wealth of knowledge. Like, anywhere on the internet, you can you can find something. So if it's not cutting it, you're gonna have to get another job or start a side hustle, in my opinion. I mean, is it ideal? No. But if you look at your big picture, then the side hustle is going to get you there, right? Like maybe you're in a position you can't get a better paying position, or it's going to take a while before you get a promotion, but you really love what you do. You either change jobs and make more money, or you add a second one. And it's not ideal for people, but it's temporary, because
Right.
if you have a big goal in mind, you're using these little steps like your side hustle or your second job to kind of throw you into the next phase.
Yeah.
But if the money's not there to invest and start growing, then you're not getting anywhere. You have to start with something. So whatever it is, I think you should start a side hustle.
Yeah. And just keep in mind, it takes time. It's not going to happen
Mhm.
overnight. I think it took us maybe 6 years to fully get into a position where we started experiencing, I guess, financial
I think 6
breathability.
years to start, like, to break out of like the struggle.
Right.
I say that loosely because I know people have it way worse than what we had it. Like
Sure,
we never
absolutely.
had our utilities shut off or didn't have food for the kids, but like we had to watch what we were spending or we're going to be going into the negative. I mean, I've always been a budgeter, so I was never going to allow that, but we had to be careful. And I think
Yeah.
around the 6th year is like when we finally were able, okay, like now we can start taking vacations or contribute towards retirement
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So
Because
that
everybody
came
always
later.
hears about the success, but you rarely hear about how long or all the hard work it took to get to that success. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You can't have success. It just takes time.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen overnight.
Another one is manage your debt. So if you're someone that has a credit card and then just uses it for everything, like close the account or give the card to someone or just find a way to manage.
It depends, though, because if you have the money and you are using the credit card correctly, like we did,
That's different.
when we when we bought our house, we had the cash, but we had a really good credit card that gave us a lot of points, and we probably racked up like close to $30,000 on it, furnishing the new house and kind of getting stuff for the new house, and then slowly started paying that off. But we knew
Well,
what
first
we
of
were
all,
doing.
I had just started in real estate. So,
Right.
and we were moving into our house, and I'm like a person that I have to have everything right away. So I had to have the whole house furnished and everything done within like a
Mm-hmm.
week. So what we did is we applied for a credit card and there was no payments for 6 months. So
Right.
there was 0% interest for 6 months. So I knew within 6 months I could pay it off. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what we did. And that was kind of like my mini goal. But if you're not disciplined with that, please don't do that. So, um, but manage your debt. So again, if you need to sell a car, sell a car. If it's costing you too much money to maintain, it's always um, breaking down, sell the car, take an Uber. Get a ride with a friend, take the bus. I don't know, but try to manage your debt. So if you're spending more than you're getting in, cut up your credit cards, stop spending,
Right.
and look at what you're spending. A lot of people, I know there are some that need to use their credit cards to survive daily, but really, if you looked at it, there were several little things that you did or spent your money on that got you to the point where you are in so much debt. Like, did you need that much clothes? Did you need that purse? Did you need that jewelry? Did you need that iPhone? Like, there's several little things that you need to be aware of, cut out, or stop spending money on to get to a better place.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Credit cards are there as an extra resource. Not. It's not money. Like for you to have. Like you still have to pay it off. You're still gonna
Mhm.
have to pay that down. So don't use it. A lot of people use it as like extra income, basically.
Yeah.
So.
We look at a credit card as if we have the money in our checking account to spend the money, then
Mm-hmm.
we will use the credit card to buy stuff just because it will give us points and it will pay us back. But we
Right.
don't, if we don't have the money for something, we're not going to put it on the credit card just because we want it. So,
Yeah. Another thing that we had was when we would get more money than we were expecting,
mhm.
we wouldn't spend it or upgrade our lifestyle with that money.
Mhm.
So we would save a lot. We started looking into investing in different types of like real estate, different accounts, um, financial accounts, instead of putting it towards a new car or a new house. Um,
That's a big, I hate that. So, in the real estate industry, you stand the chance to make a lot of money in very good years. There are several problems with spending that money if you're not ready to kind of handle that much money. So, for us, we've been, well, me at least, and I think you've become this way, are we're very disciplined with money. So when we would get an influx of commission checks or income, I would not spend any of it.
right.
I mean, at one point I was like, oh, I'm going to have a goal that for every closing I have, I'm going to get myself like a new article of clothing for like 50 or 60 bucks. And I wouldn't even do that. So like I would
Right.
not spend the money. I
Yeah.
think you need to think about and talk about what you want your lifestyle to be. And once you get to that, kind of stay there. So, you're making 150,000 and you get a promotion and now you're making 200,000. And instead of staying at that lifestyle that you've already kind of comfortably afforded or gotten to, people like, okay, now I have an extra 50,000. What am I going to do with it? We
Mm-hmm.
look at it. What can we invest it in? We don't start spending more money. We don't start putting more money into our business if we don't need it to grow anymore. We don't buy a new car. We don't upgrade our house. Like we keep the same lifestyle. So then we're able to invest more and grow our net worth quicker as opposed to someone that's upgrading their lifestyle every time they get a raise, a big commission check, or just make more money in general. So
Right.
I think it's a trap that people fall into. I know during COVID, like my 9-year-old could have sold a house. Like it was
Yeah.
not, the market was driving itself.
Mm-hmm.
The good realtors came out of it and bad realtors, but you didn't need to do a lot to sell a lot because the rates were so low. So a lot of people were making a lot of money. And I know one couple in particular, they're like, oh, well, yeah, we're selling our house. We're building like this, I don't know, 8,000 square foot mansion on like 2.5 acres. I'm like, why? And it was just a husband and the wife. And
Right.
I'm judging, but not really. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But it was more so an ego thing for him. Like, he got new cars, each of
Yeah.
them built this like big mansion. And then now, like, I follow him on social media, and he's like desperate for business because
Right.
he's upgraded his lifestyle to such a standard that it's not maintainable for him. And I think if you can't comfortably maintain that lifestyle, you should
Mm-hmm.
not upgrade to that lifestyle.
And
And
a
I,
lot of times when you're buying these expensive things, it's not even for you. It's
yeah.
to impress your neighbor, to impress somebody on social media,
Hmm.
and they'll ooh and ah for 5 minutes, and then they could not care any less
Yeah.
about you having this car. So just don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Just keep up with your own lifestyle.
Yeah. Another thing or step to take is looking for and saying yes to opportunities. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's kind of that like law of attraction, right? If you start saying like I'm gonna look for ways to invest, I'm gonna look for ways to make, yeah. Another thing or step to take is looking for and saying yes to opportunities. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's kind of that like law of attraction, right? If you start saying like I'm gonna look for ways to invest, I'm gonna look for ways to make more money, you become more aware of the things around you,
Right.
and you become more aware of ways to save money, ways to make more money. I know for a long time we were talking about truly investing into passive real estate income, into like crowdfunding, where they are into projects that they need financing for a new construction project or like an apartment building,
Mm-hmm.
and we just give the money and they give us interest. So like private financing in a way, like they raise money and capital to build these different real estate projects. And we just kept looking and looking and looking, and sure enough, we found it. So
Yep.
like saying yes to opportunities and being open minded will help you, because if it's constantly on your mind, chances are you're going to find something that works for you.
Right.
So
I
that
think
was a
one of
big
the
one.
big opportunities for us in the beginning was you deciding to leave that first brokerage that you were with,
Hmm.
just because you were making them so much money and they were taking such a big cut for basically no reason because you were building your own business.
Yeah,
Um, and then the current company that we're with, I think that opportunity just kind of popped up for you,
it did.
and you were able to take that, pull the trigger on that deal. And I mean, I think that was the turning point where you were able to kind of basically work for yourself
Yeah.
instead of making money for a different company or a different person.
Well, they say the best way to make money in real estate is off of other realtors.
Mm-hmm.
So I was giving them a big chunk of money, and I was open to new opportunities,
Yep.
and one came up and it made sense financially, so we took it.
Yeah.
I'm not like somebody that needs a big social life with real estate. I don't need all the bells and whistles and the trainings. Like I know what I'm doing. I just need somewhere to hang my license and for things to make sense for me and to make the most amount of money for the time that I'm giving.
Right.
So that's what I found, and that's what has been working for me. So it freed up, I mean, in the first year, probably $60,000
Mm-hmm.
that we were able to invest into real estate, into other things. So
Yeah.
brings me to my next step. So you found your support system, you've made a budget, you've analyzed your finances, you built your emergency fund. What else? You cut down on your debt,
Mm-hmm.
and you know where all your money's going, and you're not upgrading your lifestyle. The next thing is hiring the right people.
Right.
So your CPA, your brokerage if you're a realtor, your financial advisor, your realtor, your friends should all be contributing to your big goal. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have professionals in your life that are not replying, not supplying you
Right.
with the resources that you need to grow your net worth, you need to find new professionals. So, when my clients come to me about like how can I build, my net worth or my wealth with real estate, I'm an open book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't push it on them, but they know that I'm here to educate them on that and help them with that. So whenever they're ready, they can come to me. Our CPA is amazing. So a big thing is, and this would be another step, is max out your retirement contributions.
Mm-hmm.
If your work is matching it, that's free money. You need to be maxing that out. I think it's like a no-brainer, especially once it starts getting taken out of your check.
Yeah.
I understand some people can't do it because they need that extra money to
Right.
get by. But once you are kind of coasting,
Mm-hmm.
and you're buying a lot of unnecessary things. There's a lot of Amazon things arriving at your front door. I can do
Speaking
that
from
because I
experience.
max out everything for my retirement.
Yeah.
And for us, we're self-employed. So there are different tax guidelines and we have to contribute
Mm-hmm.
like privately, but we do the max every year and then some. That saves us money because we're getting a tax break. And I know there's something in the background working for me and making money. So when I'm 40, 50, 60, I can take money from that and it's just
Mm-hmm.
there. Our financial advisor is actually our CPA's
Mom.
mom. So they are both, we would not use them if they weren't like very good at their
The
jobs.
best. Yeah.
I think the daughter is really good at her job because of how the mom probably raised
Probably.
her. But they work with each other, so we have conference calls with them all the time like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're doing this," and we kind of figure out a plan that saves us the most on taxes, and how we can grow the most amount of money tax free. Um, so uh, not everyone uses a financial advisor. Some people or some finance bros advise against it because they do take a fee of um, the amount of money that you're growing or have in the
Mm-hmm.
account. For us, like I went to school for finance, I was almost a financial advisor myself. I know my time is best spent doing other things. So I don't mind paying that fee for someone to watch over our accounts, to make sure
Yeah.
that they don't get wiped out, to move things around. I don't want to have to worry about that. So for me, the price I pay is worth it. It might not be worth it to you. There's several things that you can invest in. Mutual funds or targeted growth funds are usually the best for people to invest in because say you want to, start taking money out of that account in 2055. You just look up a fund for that year and it's kind of built in a way to make you the most return every year leading up to that year and becomes more conservative the closer you get to that time frame. So again, the internet is a wealth of knowledge. You don't need to be a
Mm-hmm.
rocket scientist to figure out how to invest your money, how to make the most out of free money if you're getting matching from your employer. I think everybody should max out their employer
Contributions.
contributions if you're able to. Um, and then after that, you start getting your own funds like privately that are not tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
And then for us, a big one is also real estate. So
Yeah.
it's pretty simple. We have investment properties. So someone else is paying off our mortgage. Because we are real estate professionals, we do get a tax deduction for our rentals. Um, we're growing equity and long-term wealth, family, net worth for our family, and we're just, managing the rentals. It's not truly passive because we don't have management companies. Ricky is
Mm-hmm.
our management
Yep.
company. But for us that works. Like I
Yeah.
said, we didn't get to this place by being loose with money. We're pretty frugal. So
Oh
at
yeah.
this point, it doesn't all our rentals are within 30 minutes of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't make sense for us to give someone,
Yeah.
I don't know, 300-400 bucks a month to manage each rental.
Yeah. We bought at a good time too. All of the houses have pretty low interest rates as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but when we were looking for those rentals, we had a certain amount of money that was just sitting in the bank, and we found different accounts that at the time we thought were benefiting us. And then we ended up through experience finding out that they kept lowering the interest rate that we were gaining on that money.
Mm-hmm.
So then we started looking at different options. So we're constantly looking to see what else we can invest in, see what else we can put money into
Mm-hmm.
that's going to give us the greatest return for our money.
Yeah.
So it's just a never ending learning game, basically.
Mm-hmm. And I've mentioned it before, but I think tracking your net worth every year can also help with that because if you have all your liabilities and all your assets in the spreadsheet, you'll know like if you have a net worth or not. Like if you owe more than you own, then you're upside down. So for us, that was a big game changer because every year we could see it grow or decline. So we
Right.
took the necessary steps to grow it. And so now that's kind of what it does. We don't invest when we spend large chunks of money. We ask ourselves if it's going to grow our net worth first before we spend the money.
Mhm.
Like I have 2 very expensive purses and they did not grow my net worth. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. We
I
like to
have one
splurge once in a
daughter
while.
and I will pass them down to her. She already knows that. And I bought them super neutral and like, you know, they will go with different time changes and
Yeah.
different styles. And I'm okay with that. But
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly looking at, is this going to increase or decrease
How to grow.
our, you know, would I like a Mercedes or a new BMW? Sure, I would. But then I look at the
Really?
numbers and a car is a depreciating asset.
Not
So,
BMW.
huh?
Not BMW.
No,
No.
it would only be a BMW because I was born in the city where BMWs are made.
That dealership put a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh my gosh. We went to a BMW dealership one time and I was like ready to pull the trigger.
We were gonna buy it that day.
And you know, Ricky does not look like your normal, I don't know, like
Successful person, I guess.
he just, I guess people think he looks like a hoodlum or something, you know, all the
I'm okay with
tattoos and
that.
stuff. I don't know. I don't know what people think. I know I'm used to how he looks, but there is, I don't know, I feel like a stigma that goes with people that
Mhm.
have tattoos and stuff. And like, I don't know, people are judgy.
Just casual.
So we went to this dealership in the middle of the week. It was like a Wednesday or Tuesday,
Yeah.
completely dead. There's like probably 5 or 6 salespeople
just
in
sitting
the
around.
dealership. And we're like expecting them to swarm us. Nobody comes out. After like 15 minutes, someone comes out and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And I
No,
was
no, no.
like,
We walked in. Remember, we walked in through the front doors,
"Oh,
and they're all just like in the back talking. And then
Mhm.
one dude just like looks over, and he like stands up. He goes, "Hey, what are you guys looking for?" Like from across the dealership.
mm-hmm.
He's probably like 50, 60 feet away. And we're like, "Oh, we're looking for an
X5."
X5 or whatever it was." He's like, "Oh, you'll find those out in the lot closer to the street. Used ones are over here on the right." And then that's
So
it.
after that, we were already like, "Okay, whatever." So we thought they were all unlocked. They were
Yeah.
all locked. So he just sent us out there to look at the outside of a car
Yeah.
and like, so
So
then
like, all right,
we
man.
just left and then I never got my BMW, which is fine. But anyway, so those are the steps that we take
Mm-hmm.
to grow our net worth. Again, having the plan is the biggest thing. Make a plan and work towards it. We've
Yep.
given you several tools, resources, information. We're an open book, so feel free to ask us anything that you would like to know on how we got to where we
Mm-hmm.
are. And not saying that we're like super rich or anything, but we're trying to actively
Be there one day.
get positive numbers.
Yeah. So let us know what your favorite investments are. If you have any interesting ones or unique ones, leave them in the comments. We're, like I said, always looking to learn.
Mhm.
So let us know how it goes. So thank you very much for listening and watching. However you're getting our content, we appreciate you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.